What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Today I'm really excited to flip you a new Finch. This one here is the 1934. It has been out of the box. I have carried and used it a little bit, not too much. You don't need too much. If you're familiar with QSP, you're familiar with their heat treat, their edges, their quality is pretty consistent. So here's everything that comes in the box with the Finch. This one is the 1934, and this time I decided to go ahead and pick it up in a different color combination. Now, it is orange. It is advertised as orange, and when I saw it in the dealer pictures, it really looked pretty red to me, which I thought was really cool. But it came in the orange, and you know, I was like, I don't know if I'd like orange. But when I actually got this in hand, I thought it looked pretty cool. It looks like a more fresh bone than it does, you would think, in the pictures, and I'm not quite sure how it's going to come through on the video, to be honest with you guys. So let me run through the specs. You know, I have handled it a little bit. I didn't do too much, because once you've handled some Finches from QSP, you have a really good sense of the knife and how it's going to react, and this is pretty consistent with that. So I do want to run through the specs really quickly on this one. We'll weigh it, we'll do some comparison knives, and we'll talk about the knife itself. All right, so the Finch 1934 has a 3-inch 154 cm blade steel, 4-inch bone with stainless steel for an overall length of 7 inches, and the weight is claiming to be 3.95 ounces. Let's go ahead and bring the scale out here and check to see how it weighs in at that 3.95. That'd be pretty consistent, I think. With some of the Finches, they're a little bit more heavier because they have the stainless steel frames. Yeah, 4.2. I thought 3.95 sounded light. And again, the website that I purchased it on could have had that weight wrong. So let me go ahead and run through the comparison knife so you can get a size reference, because this is a bigger Finch. Most of their Finches are a little bit more on the 5th pocket carry size. This one's a little bit closer to a medium size knife like an Elementum. So here is the Spyderco Yojimbo 2. You can see getting kind of close to that size. Then you can see it up against the Spyderco Shaman. You can see this is smaller than both, but you can tell that you're getting a lot more handle on this particular knife. And I'm going to bring out a couple of more size references for you guys in case you're not interested or know or familiar with those Spydercos. We're going to bring out the Benchmade Bug Out, highly popular knife, very close in size here. I think this is a very interesting comparison. While the Bug Out is slightly bigger, you can tell that this is getting close to that size weight. And then we'll go ahead and bring out the Sig K320. You can tell, you know, this is just bigger than both those knives down there. Last but not least, we'll put these away, if I can get it in the pouch, and then we'll bring out the budget knives. First is going to be the Kubey Royal KU321, which is going to be very close in size. So here you can start to see where I'm talking about. It's that Elementum sized knife. And then we'll compare it to another traditional folder, the Buck 110. So hopefully this has helped you for a frame of reference of the size. Let me go ahead and give you the profile, thickness profile, so that you can see this is very comparable to the Royal, but the Royal has more contouring, so it's a little bit thicker. We'll go ahead and bring the Bug Out back out. You can see the Bug Out is just going to be a little bit thinner. Well, actually, it's probably a lot way thinner. And then we'll bring out the Yojimbo 2, which is the same thickness as the Para 3. So you can see really close in thickness there. This knife is very interesting to me. I have my favorite Finch to date out here, and that is going to be the Chernobyl Ant. This one's more slender, but as far as the thickness comparisons, you can tell they're very close, and due to the contouring on the Chernobyl Ant, it's actually a little bit thicker. Sorry, I had a bad angle looking under the camera. You can see just a tiny bit thicker. Now, the Chernobyl Ant, still my favorite for sure. I love it because it's a great size for 5th pocket carry. They are very similar in size, but I actually think this is possibly my second favorite Finch. I like the size. I love the fact that it does have more of a traditional look for a modern pocket knife than the Chernobyl Ant does, or the Lucky 13 did. I really like the bone inlay. I think it's great attention to detail. They did a nice job with the glow crest being completely flush. It is, again, a frame lock that does have good lockup. It's a nice, thin, slicey blade, too. This thing is really way more slicier than I thought it was going to be. The access to the lock bar is super duper tight, but it does work. I found with this one here, that slide technique really works here, where you come and slide over. Now, if you are a drop shutty person, it is going to be a little bit tight to try to get it to engage, and it is still needing a little bit of break-in. I love the nail nick here. It does look like, doesn't it, just like an old school folder. The 1934, I'm assuming, is the year of the knife that they targeted the aesthetics towards, and I think it's just really good looking. You know, I've talked about in the past on the Lucky 13 where I think having titanium here would have been really cool. One thing that I think is an opportunity for Finch that they could do, not that I would want them to do a sprint run, but maybe do like a limited run of knives like this where they are titanium bolstered and have the stainless steel insert with the bone or something like that, and then maybe offer that in an M390 and maybe charging, you know, close to 200 for that. I would say that this is a good size for that. So just to give you an idea of in the hand, you can see I am right at 3 3/4 fingers on here, but it feels really comfortable. It gets you pretty close to the blade's edge. QSP still needs to work on their sharpening choil. That plunge grind's taking you right up to the edge, so you would get a smile. Probably on your very first sharpening. I know it's really hard to see here, and I'll try to do my best to zoom in here so that you can see that, but it is a very deep, or no, I would say shallow. I would say deep comes straight down, like diving into the deep side of the pool, versus the shallow where you're just, you know, if you go head first here, you're going to bump head and lifeguard's going to have to rescue you. What an awful reference. Pocket clip works really good. I think when it comes to Finches, there's not too many alternatives. I would still recommend the Chernobyl Ant over this, in my personal opinion. It does have 14C versus 154 cm. I do like the more slender profile on here. This actually has a thinner blade, I think. No, it's the same thickness. It's the same thickness. So you're actually going to get a better experience cutting through materials with the taller blade, because it's going to be a more gradual climb out of the geometry going from thin to thicker than it is with the Chernobyl. I just like the contouring, and I love the fact that this is a full 4-finger grip, but because of where this particular flipper tab being bigger puts you, I am a little bit further out. So I actually got more handle in hand with the Chernobyl Ant than I actually am in the 1934. It's a great looking knife though, and again, I think when you're looking at a Finch and you're looking at that modern traditional, I wish I'd have brought it down here, but I totally forgot. I'm so sorry. I was going to recommend, if you're looking at a traditional like this, a modern traditional, you might want to look at Lion Steel's Best Man, because they're in the same price point, but Lion Steel's comes with M390, has titanium bolsters, and has a micarta, carbon fiber, or wood inlay. They're at the exact same price point. They are both attacking or occupying, not attacking, occupying that modern traditional genre, that niche that you don't see a lot of other manufacturers going after. And I did really quick while I was talking about, wanted to talk about a few other knives. So I am going to bring the the Civivi Altus out here, so you get a good size reference. You can tell the 1934 is a little bit bigger, and then an actual traditional folder. I wouldn't call it modern traditional, but just a traditional folder is going to be the Delica. You can see here, and I'll bring them up for a better reference. You can tell that they're occupying very similar spaces when you talk about length and performance, but you're getting a much thinner edge on that Delica. So the Delica is going to be most familiar. What I'll do, since I forgot to bring out the, did I just hit my finger on the blade? Oh no, okay. Sorry, I wasn't looking up. I will throw a picture of the Lion Steel Best Man 2 out. Actually, you know what? Be right back. I'm going to go grab it. Oh, man. Yes, I ran upstairs to get my organizer so I could actually get this knife for this reference, because I think it's a good reference and I'm mad at myself for not getting it. I hope you leave me a like for this video. Whew. There you go. So, actually, it is a little bit smaller. I thought it was going to be closer in comparison, but I think they do give you that modern, traditional vibe. And I think that the slip joint with the more modern materials and modern steel on here, I think it's a really good comparison. But these are more closer in price now to the Lion Steel, which again, you're getting the titanium on here. You can get carbon fiber, micarta, or bone. And again, M390 steel, I don't know how well Lion Steel is treating these now. I think that they're somewhere around 60, 61. So, you know, not as high as you would want to see on an M390, but still at 60, 61, you're going to get really good toughness, right? The edge retention might not be as good as 63, 64, but it's still going to be pretty good. So you're getting, I guess, and if you're more into the walk and talk, and if you are more into the two-handed opening, that this is probably a nice alternative. Also, it's an Italian-made knife, so some people that may not want to support China, that would be something to take into consideration when you're buying these knives. I personally really like the Finch knives, and he's an American designer, and you know, he's getting obviously money off of these knives. So I do feel in some way, shape, and form when I buy it from a local small dealer, I'm supporting that business, and then I am supporting the American designer. But I do like this knife. I recommend checking it out, especially if you wanted to look at a Finch that was a little bit more full size. I mean, is it a bruiser? Absolutely not. This is still a medium knife in my opinion. A nice size. Not going to feel quite as gentlemanly as the Chernobyl Ant. It's going to feel more like a true traditional folding knife, and I think that's probably why they went after the 1934. Now they do have the G10. I am totally flaking on what the other inlay is, or insert. Oh, I'll have to throw it on the screen, guys. I'm so sorry. I was really interested in the bone, and I think it looks realistic and very cool, and I love the can't think of the word. Oh my gosh. The milling, yeah, the cutout here, the carve out, and the staining on it to make it look weathered and worn. Man, just this is a really good knife. This is definitely my second favorite Finch ever to date. And I'll be curious. I'll be watching them. I've been watching them. I'm going to continue to watch them and see what else they bring out. If you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, leave a like, especially for running upstairs to get that Best Man 2 for the comparison, right? Come on, guys. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. And if you are subscribed, don't forget to check to make sure your notification bell is set to all. And thank you for the support. You are awesome. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. And until next time, peace.